My name is Rokosz, and I have chosen Denmark for my final project. I chose Denmark because of its interesting and controversial legal system. The Nordic country of Denmark is a sovereign state. It is located southwest of Sweden and south of Norway. The government of Denmark is a constitutional monarchy. Denmark has district courts, high courts, maritime and commercial high courts, and supreme courts. Most cases in Denmark begin at a district level, but there is an option to appeal to a high court. Denmark has 24 district courts where all cases start, unless they are referred to the High Court. Cases may be referred to the High Court if they have to do with general interest principles. Uses lay judges in its district and high courts. Lay judges are ordinary citizens who have no legal background. They assist the judge in making the right decision for their fellow citizens. They are present in criminal cases when the prosecutor wants to punish by imprisonment. Lay judges are never used in the Supreme Court. A list of possible lay judges and jurors is compiled from each municipality every 4 years. They must be 18 to 70 years old, entitled to vote in parliamentary elections, and not have been convicted of any serious offenses. Also, the list must represent a diverse selection of the population. Usually, district court cases are heard by one judge, but sometimes 3 judges hear the case. In cases where the prosecution wants a person to be imprisoned, lay judges are also present. There will be 1 legal judge and 2 lay judges. Juries are only used when the prosecution wants to punish the accused with 4 or more years in prison, or when the accused person may be sentenced to detention or committed. Jury cases usually only occur a few times each year. Cases can be civil or criminal, just like in America. Criminal cases are defined as cases that have been investigated by police and are used to determine if a person is guilty of committing a certain crime. Civil cases are when one party wants help from the court in a claim against another party. The high courts are a step above the district courts. District court rulings can be appealed to high courts. There are 2 high courts in Denmark, the Western High Court in Viborg, which handles cases from Jutland, and the Eastern High Court in Copenhagen, which hears cases from the rest of the country. Another section of court in Denmark is the Maritime and Commercial High Court. Its 2 divisions are the Probate Division and the Legal Division. The Probate Division deals with cases involving bankruptcy, debt, reconstruction, etc. The Legal Division deals with international commercial cases, competition cases, and cases about patents, designs, or trademarks. The highest court in Denmark is the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is in Copenhagen. It deals with rulings of the high courts, as well as unprecedented cases that come from Maritime and Commercial High Court. Determines what the correct legal position will be in unprecedented cases, if they are to occur in lower courts. The Supreme Court creates the standard of interpretation of the law for all other courts in Denmark. The Supreme Court never decides whether a person is guilty or innocent in criminal cases. They only provide the sentence. There is also a land registration court. This deals with the registration of property and is mainly dealt with online or digitally. All rights to real property and assets must be registered. Some cases that are more difficult are heard in the Land Registration Court building in Hobro. In Denmark, there is no reduction in sentence given by pleading guilty. If the accused person pleads guilty, they appear before one judge, and the judge has to feel that there is sufficient evidence against them before they will accept the guilty plea. Also, anyone can request access to documents on judgment. This is true for both criminal and civil cases. In a recent case in Denmark, a junior doctor at Svendborg Hospital was convicted of negligence after the death of a diabetic patient. A diabetic patient in the ER complained of stomach pains, and the doctor ordered a blood sugar test. It was never performed, and the patient was put on a fasting diet, not ordered by the doctor. The patient later died of brain damage resulting from low blood sugar. At first, the doctor was found not guilty at the district court level, but the decision was appealed to the High Court and he was found guilty of negligence. Recently, the decision of the High Court was appealed again to the Supreme Court, and the doctor was ultimately acquitted and found not guilty of negligence. Both Denmark and the United States use judicial review of legislative acts, meaning that they have the power to determine the actions of Parliament or Congress unconstitutional. Unlike Denmark, the United States does not use lay judges in any trials. We only use legal judges. Federal district courts in the United States, while Denmark only has 24. When a decision has been made by the district court, the decision can be appealed to the U.S. Court of Appeals. This is similar to the high courts in Denmark, except our Court of Appeals are divided into 12 federal circuits. One key difference between the legal system in America and Denmark is prisons. In Denmark, prisons are much more relaxed than U.S. prisons. Prisoners are allowed to cook their own meals and wear their own clothing. They are even allowed to leave the prison daily. It is hardly a prison at all. Unlike the United States, Denmark does not currently use the death penalty for any cases. Capital punishment was abolished for all cases in Denmark in 1991. Denmark prides itself on being a leader in human rights and its humane treatment of prisoners.